you might need to know. We're very unique in the fact that if you don't know about small town New England politics, um, it's local and dirty. We have a really big school board. We have a superintendent who is not super nice. And we have 23 schools across a very small district, all with very different administrative patterns. So when we sat down to put together a plan, it's sort of a two-pronged idea. We're going to go back. We're members of the executive board of our union. So the four executive boards and the PAC committee chair, or the PAC committee member is going to go back, and we're going to introduce it to leadership at the union level. I believe our school board member is going to go back and have a side conversation with our mayor, who is very pro public schools. And then we're going to try to work together to get the superintendent to buy in, as sort of frame it as a idea he has. He's very much into community and collaboration. So if we can sort of spin the narrative to make sure that he understands that it's coming a lot from him. We do, because it's such a small community, it's only 100,000 members, we already have some ideas as far as community leadership, community partnerships. The United Way is big in our city. We have the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club support us for, we have alternative summer school programs through them, after school programs with them. We have a couple of nonprofits. You guys have probably all heard of SNU, or Southern New Hampshire University. It's the biggest university in the country because of the 900,000 online members. And it's also a nonprofit, so they have a bunch of cash in the coffers that we can sort of go and ask to put our hands out to create. So our idea is to form a small coalition to work together to try to figure out who could be our coordinator, and then put together presentations not only for our general membership, but for the school board, as well as different community members. We have very big populations of immigrants in the community because we are a federal refugee center. So we can go to those leaders in those kind of communities and build a trust. We already have sort of roughly outlined a map of how we'd want to do it. How we'd want, which schools we'd start with as community school members, community schools. Like Kyle said the first day, we wanted to have 4 ideas, you come up with 2 to work. We do have a couple of feeder systems, so we have 14 elementary schools and 4 middle schools. So our idea is to target one of the elementary schools who is sort of kind of already a community school in name mostly, but they do offer a lot of wraparound services, dental, some healthcare. So see if we can go to them and talk to them about the things they like about their program and things they don't like, see if we can help them, along with another school that feeds into the same middle school for them, and see if we can grow it from the bottom up in a more vertical line. Did I forget anything? No. All right, fabulous.
I think one of the things we really found effective was the ability to really sit together from a multifaceted perspective and get some, really look at our community itself and what it needs and how do we need to sell this? How do we need to sell this to our own leadership? How do we need to sell this to political leadership in the city? How do we sell this to community? How do we sell this to our own members? And we are in a contract year. We have a voucher bill that is in finance right now that we believe our governor will sign. So we've got, and at the same time we kind of have an apathy issue. So we're trying to find a way that we both need to take some initiatives that we can control and empower our membership. At the same time, inspire that membership, and kind of our perspective. What I'm really pushing is that our profession's in crisis, and probably at the city, at the state, at the federal level more than at any time in my career. And this is a way for us to regain control of the narrative, provide best practice, use the laws as they're going forward, and really build some allies that we're going to need. Another little thing we don't really tell you about New England politics is that Yankee mentality of Robert Frost saying, good fences make good neighbors, is we keep our business to ourselves, so that learning that ask is difficult. It's not really our cultural thing to make that kind of, you mind your own business, you get your stuff done, you don't ask for help. And so that is something that we need to force ourselves through. And
Yeah, and like everybody else with Janice going through in, or they start oral arguments tomorrow. We are an agency fee state, and so we have a couple of different timelines that we have to go through. We got to try to get as many members as possible to buy in as soon as possible before we see membership numbers dwindle, as we're expecting to lose between 20 and 25% of members as soon as that goes through. So the stakeholders that we need to get to the table, some of them we need to do in a very calculated way, as we control the message and we make the presentations to the certain members, but there are others that we need to move fast because we need to get them to buy into what we'd like to do before we start losing them and don't have the ability to really invoke their drive for it to help.
So yeah, we have kind of a multifaceted challenge, I think.
And this is about half of the major players that push the agenda through for our association. So we really need to try to get some help. About 20 super active members. There's 6 here, So it's
1,100 members.
Yes. So it's one of those things that we have to get back and really work with our membership and with leadership to try to get over that apathy, as well as leadership around the community. So we have some good opportunities in front of us, and some strengths, but we have a bunch of threats and weaknesses we have to overcome and identify correctly. And if we don't identify correctly, we're dead in the water. And it would just be one of these other initiatives that lasts for 6 months, and then the next year we go back and it's right back to something new and different. And like I'm sure you guys all have to deal with in your own districts. So.
I like that young lady.